Like, I'm 5'11", just under 6 foot. Come on, seat tight. I mean, if I wanted to sleep in here. We have this love for really large vehicles in North America, and I'm someone who raised 4 kids in smaller vehicles than this. This year, Ford is launching its 5th generation Expedition, its signature SUV. It is a full-size SUV, or some people like to call it an entire house. My review of the 2025 Ford Expedition is coming up next, so stick around. The Ford Expedition has been around as a nameplate on its own since 1997. Built on an F-150 platform, it was launched as a replacement for the Ford Bronco. But rather than continuing Bronco's purpose as an off-road SUV, the Expedition basically was launched to be the equivalent of a station wagon but built on a truck platform. In 2007, the Expedition added an extended-length version as well, known as the Expedition Max. This essentially became the replacement for the larger Excursion, which was being discontinued. While there are several notable changes to the 5th generation Expedition, the exterior design remains largely familiar. From the front, one will see new reflector headlamps with an available signature grille lighting design that does offer a distinctive new front profile. New LED tailgate lighting, as well as a pair of new exterior colors, including glacial gray metallic, also offer something new, which was the color on my tester. One notable addition to the 5th generation Expedition is the introduction of an Expedition Tremor, which is perhaps the closest nod to its role as a Bronco replacement that we've seen so far. As for powertrains, the 2025 Expedition pretty much stays the course. It is powered by a 3.5-liter EcoBoost engine that puts out a total of 400 horsepower and 480 pound-feet of torque. Now, with the introduction of the Tremor edition of the Expedition, they have amped up this EcoBoost, and I think in that case you get about 440 horsepower. There is mentioning that in 2026, the Expedition will have a hybrid version coming with it. And again, as Ford is moving, at least in this area, towards hybrids. Someone buying a vehicle like this Expedition is probably also someone who is likely to have something to tow. So to that end, this Expedition can tow. It has a rating of 7,000 pounds, but that goes up to 9,600 if you add the weight distributing hitch for balancing it out. For overall drive experience, Ford has enabled the majority of the Expedition trims to have Blue Cruise availability. And of course, Blue Cruise is the hands-free driving software that we've seen on a number of vehicles. I've gotten to use it a lot, and I do enjoy it. I have to admit, it's fun, as you know, as I've demonstrated before, when you have your hands free and you still have to be paying attention, but it allows me to do things that I wasn't able to do without it, and often got me in trouble with my family. You know, things like air drumming. I could air drum and drive with no problem, and it's a great convenience. I've really become quite comfortable with it, and with each iteration, it gets a little bit better, a little more reliable. It has the ability to, you know, change lanes for you. It has greater opportunities. And I think Ford is introducing that you have the ability to pay monthly, or you can pay an annual, just one-time subscription. I don't know if there's a lower annual price or not, but it's certainly something I enjoy. In terms of fuel economy, the combined rating for this Expedition and the 3.5-liter V6 EcoBoost, it's 13.1 liters per 100 kilometers. That is 18 US miles per gallon. We are in summertime. It is easier to do better than that. Currently, I'm at 12.7 liters per 100 kilometers. I'll post what my final number is, but it will be better than the 13.1. We'll just see how much further I can go down. If you've made it to this point, you probably like what you see, but you're also likely not a subscriber, and I want to change that. Please subscribe to the Novak Report now. I put about 5 to 7 videos out a month, mostly auto, some travel, some product reviews, long form, shorts, it's all good. Help me grow this channel now. Subscribe to the Novak Report, and thank you for doing so. Here on the interior of the new Expedition, it definitely has some changes of note. You can see a big difference in the overall layout here at the front. Most notably, of course, is what you see dead ahead, and that's the new 24-inch display screen, which basically it replaces your instrument cluster. And there is some strategy to its positioning as well. It is placed higher. In most vehicles, the information you see, you're looking through the wheel. You have to adjust your wheel to see through it. Well, what Ford has done here is they've lifted above. Now, this is something we first saw in the Lincoln Nautilus, and now this philosophy is starting to spread out through other models. So by putting it higher, it's basically, first of all, more at eye level. There's less need to look down. It also removes the need for any heads-up display, so it's just straight in front of us. And also to make sure that it's even more visible, the wheel has been redesigned as well. You have a flat top and a flat bottom on this new wheel. The flat bottom we've seen a lot more because it's easier for getting in and out, but the flat top, again, just sort of chops off any possibilities of getting part of the wheel in between your eyes and the information dead ahead. So that is a new feature. Also, part of this new 24-inch display, there is customizable elements, and the way it's done is through the center screen. Again, we saw this in the Nautilus, but there are widgets that you can actually slide into the middle slot. Something else with this wheel that they have done on the Expedition is they've changed the way your steering wheel mounted functions work. And I gotta admit, I'm not a fan of it. If you look at the wheel, it's sort of minimalist. You can't see any of the programs, but by touching, you have your controls appear up on the information screen. But one thing they've added to the wheel controls that I don't see any logical point to doing so. This really wasn't necessary. But if I want to adjust my mirrors and my steering wheel for tilt and telescopic, I have to actually hit a spot here. I have to press it, and then I have to slide if I want to do steering wheel adjustments. Then I just fiddle around with it. Another new feature in the Expedition is how the center console is designed. It's called a flex power console. Traditional things we see here, we have our wireless phone charging, we've got our cup holders, we've got controls for our Pro Trailer Assist, there's USB connectors, there is of course traditional storage space here, but the power part is that you can move it back, you can slide it back. So by doing so, if your people in the second row want to have greater access to their controls or to the cup holders, this one is store space, that's one thing. The other feature too is it opens up a new cargo space that you can put items, you could put a purse in, you could put other bags, and it actually locks up too, because once you close this, it's secure outside and it hides things. The Ford says that a lot of the passengers, buyers and customers have been asking for something like this. And again, the center area of storage space, I mean, electric vehicles have a big advantage with a flat floor, so there's versatility there. Of course, if you're talking about something like the Expedition, you have to talk about interior volume. With this new Expedition, and again, there's also an Expedition Max, but I'm only talking about the main dimensions right now. We're looking at 171.8 cubic feet of passenger volume. So that's a lot compared to, anything else out there. It's large, so you might as well maximize space. But in terms of cargo space, because that's always important too, if you put the second and the third row seats down, you've got 108.5 cubic feet of cargo capacity. If you just put the third row down, you have 60.8 cubic feet, but if you move the adjustable second row seats, be the captain's chairs or a bench, all the way forward, you get up to 69.9 cubic feet. And just with the third row up and only in the back, you've got 21.6 cubic feet of space. But in the third row, they've also created something they call flex seating. And instead of having to, if you needed more space back there, instead of having to fold, half of it down, they've created a small compartment in the middle that pops open. And then you could slide through something like, skis or lumber that's long and needed that extra space, but you don't want to give up seating capacity. So that's part of the flexibility is there as well. Within the center infotainment screen, we have a number of different features. Again, it's Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, wireless connected, certainly Bluetooth, and there's other features. I mean, you've got your karaoke if enabled, when of course you're stopped and you want to sing along, because you might be hanging around somewhere. Certainly not for driving. Other features you see that are entertainment wise, there's a number of games opportunities. You've got different program games that you can play. Understanding that this would be a vehicle you'd use for camping or things similar to that, and you might need some lighting at night. Ford has offered a new feature called their zone lighting, so you control through the center screen, you turn on the power, and then you can control all zones, or you can basically gear light to one or small areas. So I mean, if you needed some light to set up a tent or whatever you may need, that's a new feature. Again, it's handy. We've seen similar things like in the F-150 and stuff, so it's just transferring over all these little ideas that you think, okay, if this vehicle is a family hauler, how might we use it, and how could we assist with digital features and technology to go that way? When I've done Expedition reviews in the past with the Expedition Max, especially when I focus more in the cargo space, I had people on my YouTube channel asking me what the dimensions were. And it's true, the specs, we know about volume, but we don't know about dimensions. So I think in this case, I'm gonna measure it to help out because I remembered. And when we're talking about length, I'm pushing it right up to the back of the front chair. And again, you can adjust that a little bit, but I'm looking basically at about 7'4", like 88 inches. I mean, obviously it's adjustable. I mean, how long is that really? Well, I mean, if you, another demonstration, like I'm 5'11", just under 6 foot. Come on, seat tight. I mean, if I wanted to sleep in here, like I did recently in the Defender 130, I mean, I'd have plenty of room to crash out. And as for width, now I'm talking within the wheel wells here, we're looking at, well, it's basically 50 inches or 4'2". So let me just try from sort of side door to side door. From there, again, we're all just approximate here because I'm just eyeballing it quickly. I'm looking at now, I'm going to, well, now we're closer to, if you need it, like closer to 5 feet. But I mean, obviously between the wheel wells is really where you're gonna pay attention. So that should give you a better idea in terms of the dimensions as well as the volume of what you could put inside. Another new feature of the Redesign Expedition, which comes from customer feedback, is on this back liftgate area. It's something that they call a split gate, which basically, as you can see here, is now the back opening up in 2 slices. About 3/4 is your traditional liftgate. The bottom part is more like a typical tailgate. It offers some flexibility in terms of how you use cargo. This tailgate can also hold weight, about 500 pounds if you needed to get on top. And you can even, there's an accessory tray you can put like a serving table, so you can, have your typical tailgate party and have your food there. This is new to Ford, but we've seen this before. If you, Range Rover has been doing this for a little while. Again, it does serve a purpose. You can bring this one side up and just leave this part open, or you just shut it, and it's, it's split. It's a split gate. So what's this like to drive? What's the overall drive impression? I mean, it's big, and that's something you have to get used to. It is something that if you're not used to a large vehicle like this, the height and just the dimensions, that's something that is a bit of a learning curve. But if you're looking in this size category, you've probably had some experience with it. Again, we have this love for really large vehicles in North America. I'd argue needlessly so, and I'm someone who raised 4 kids in smaller vehicles than this. This is bigger than the minivan, and this is kind of like the SUV equivalent of a minivan, and I raised my kids in minivans. But nonetheless, it's if you can get used to the size, in terms of the overall experience, it's suitably powered. Its suspension and setup is meant more for comfort than performance, so that's fine. I don't know what the Tremor suspension would be like. I'm sure it would be a little bit more stiff and capable given what it's designed to be. But if this is what you're looking for, it does a fine job.
There are 4 trim levels for the 2025 Ford Expedition, with the Active, or formerly the XLT trim, being entry level, followed by Platinum, Tremor, and King Ranch. Here is MSRP pricing for each trim in both Canadian and US dollars.
So the improvements to this next generation Expedition are notable and positive. I'm still not convinced that we need a vehicle this size, but that's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in a comment. And if you like this video, please share it with others. If you're not subscribed to the Novak Report, please consider doing so. And if you are, make sure you're ringing the bell so you get notified of every time I upload something new. That's it for now. I'm Eric Novak. Thanks for watching.